Alright, welcome back to Restaurant Food Fast, everybody. As you can tell, we're fussing around with some audio stuff. The lavalier lapel mic that we had was not the best quality. Sound was a little better, but then we were getting a whole bunch of feedback, so we went back to original. We'll get that worked out. It seems to work okay for now, so not too worried about it, except that I sound like a vicious mouth breather because I have sinus problems. So I sit there all day going and I want to apologize again for the Rickroll, because last week every time I said the words Rickroll, we did it again. We, not me. I had nothing to do with it. It was just the boneheads behind the camera. But today we're going to show you, and we're going to show you how to do some combinations of things. We're going to get into it and start combining the sauce ingredients that we've made and some of the cooking techniques for chicken, and we're going to make like an a la king. Again, it's another one of those things, once you have the base down, you can change it to all kinds of different things. Fillings for pot pies, chicken stews, make it light, you've got cream of chicken soups. We're going to do a typical a la king with noodles. So it's going to be real easy, pretty straightforward stuff. Ingredients is, of course, our standard chicken breast, skinless, boneless. Onions, I'm going to dice up 2 onions. I'm only going to use about half of this pepper. I'm not overly fond of green pepper, but if you don't have that flavor, it doesn't really taste like what you expect chicken a la king to taste like. Some chicken base for our stock, garlic, and then seasonings. I'm going to have chives, black pepper, a little bit of bay leaves and dill, salt and pepper, and I'm going to thicken up with a basic slurry, which is flour and water. So to start, I'm going to take the noodles, and I've got boiling water back here, salted. Always want salted. I really don't need that, but it wanted to come out anyway. Everybody has different theories on why you salt the water. Basically one for me. Flavor, taste. I'm not worried, you know, I've heard people say it makes it go faster, makes the water boil faster. I just want to season the ingredient. That should do it. And now I'm going to get ready with the others. I'm going to take the chicken and cut it up real small.
What kind of noodles do you use?
Egg noodles. Just normal egg noodles. You can put it over anything. It's rice, mashed potatoes. Somebody suggested egg noodles this morning. It may have been the squirrel. So I'm going to take this chicken down to very tiny pieces, cubes. So I basically split it in half. And now my guys are looking at me going, move the ingredients so we can see what you're doing. There. So once I've got it stripped, I'm just going to cube it out. And you can see it's just a little 3/8, ½ inch, somewhere in there, just little cubes. Again, the more even you get it, the more even they're going to cook. Also, the smaller you get them, the quicker they'll cook. So we are thinking of piloting a live version of the show. We fussed around a little bit with it last week, didn't get anything pushed up because we were having sound issues. But we're probably going to give that a shot once we work out all the bugs. And I'm not sure if we're going to, how we want to present that. I don't know if we're going to have time to give people a heads up, or if we're just going to put one out and then tell them afterwards, but you know that we've got it worked out and that we're going to do it. Basically all we're going to do is go live with the show. We're going to put, of course, the podcast version up, but we're also going to have a live spot as we're taping it, so you get to see all the mess that goes on behind the scenes as we're doing this, which is generally my production crew being themselves, which, as you can see, they like to harass me about my pre-production, but they don't seem to say much when everything's rolling. They don't like the cameras. I have my editor Rick rolling over there. He's telling me that if I don't quit harassing him, he's going to do nasty things, which is bad because my production guys are. One of them was an instructor at an art institute, so I'm really surprised I haven't shown up dressed in, you know, I don't know, like a sundress or something yet. Remember first episodes I kept saying stuff about mise en place and how you should have all your stuff together to begin with? It's the running joke that although I can talk about it, I always forget something. Because I never know what I'm cooking until like 10 minutes before the show, which is another thing I get my chops busted about. Could you hand me a paper towel, please? Yeah, last time I asked for a paper towel, I got smacked in the face with it. Thank you. See what I mean? It's like working with the handicapped here. Yeah, and they're both back here going, what? Geniuses, I'm telling you. Yeah, we're not quite sure how that'll work with the live thing. Sounds kind of neat. Like I say, we're already filming. Might as well, if we can get a live feed going, might as well do it. But we're in the processes of trying to figure out what we're going to, where we're going to push it up with and all that stuff. Because some of it doesn't capture sound. I think one of them doesn't capture sound, so we can't grab it from there. And the other, I can't remember what issue we had with the other one, but we'll figure it out eventually. So what were our numbers this past week? Did they move at all? No, they stayed the same, right about 100, and we should be up around 15,000 downloads right now. So I guess we're doing something that you like. I don't know. I hope you're finding this stuff useful. It's really, really easy. I still know a lot of people who are just scared to death to cook. You shouldn't be. It's not. This is the hardest thing about cooking. And it gets to that point, I just take the whole outside off. I don't need that piece that badly. But yeah, it's real easy. There's nothing. Once you learn the basics, like you're learning here, we're cooking all this different stuff. It's not difficult. And then it's just a lot of it is experience. You learn a set of spices. You know what the flavors are you want. You can make anything you want. Starting to smell the pasta, the noodles in there. One good way to tell if they're done or not, if you can smell them. Now I'm just doing a rough chop on these onions. No particular size I'm looking for. It's just a small, rough, small dice kind of. As I think about it, get this pan cranked up. Yeah, strangely enough, anytime I ever got hurt in a restaurant, which is basically you either cut yourself or burn yourself, it's with onions. The onion skins will slip, you'll not be paying attention, you'll be talking to somebody else and you come right down on your finger. It's not fun. But it happens. When you work in a restaurant, you're going to get burnt, you're going to get cut. Your hands and arms look like a zebra. You just don't have the time, you're moving too fast. A little bit of olive oil in the pan. Basically I'm staging this. I'm going to cook the peppers and onions and spices and chicken on a side pan. I'm going to make the sauce in a little saucepan. Then I'm going to combine them together. You can put them all into one pan and let them simmer away all day and then thicken them up. It gives it a richer flavor, not nearly as fast. So we'll do it this way. Some garlic in there. That's about a tablespoon, something right around there. I'm going to add some spices. This is really like really low rate bay leaves. Not only are they not whole, they're crushed, they're dried, so they're not the best in the world, but they'll still give it a little bit of flavor. A little bit of dill. I'm going to do some chives. Salt. Of course, this is the sea salt. Don't have to do too much because you're making chicken stock, so you really don't have to season that. Real, whole bunch. And a little bit of black pepper. Now I'm going to add my chicken bits. Dump that out of the way, and I'm going to take care of this pepper. You see that, the peppers? Easiest way to clean them, just cut it in half. Grab that stalk, take the whole thing right off. You can mass produce peppers in a short amount of time. I'm going to chop these up about the same size as I did everything else, the onions and the chicken. So I'm going to strip it out. Try not to cut my fingers off as I do it. So I'm kind of out of it this week. I just got back from a business trip from hell in Houston, where I had flown into Houston just in time for Edward, and actually had a day delay because they shut Houston down. What they're looking at?
Edward?
Eduardo.
Puti.
It's not Eduardo, it was Eduardo. No O on the end.
Puti.
He was a hurricane, but not really a hurricane, tropical depression. So, yeah, that was fun. And I'm on vacation next week. So I'm getting ready to go to Las Vegas. Another way you can get used to flipping stuff on the stove, if you just kind of shoot the pan, just kind of pull it back at you real quick, you'll see how the edge of the pan makes everything roll back. You're doing the same thing in the air, except you're giving it a push up at the same time. It's an up and backwards motion. And like I say, if you like looking at this and going, oh yeah, you get the flip stuff like that, just put some rice, uncooked rice in the pan, and you'll get it. It's really, really easy. Same way you can flip an egg. You see them flipping an egg without a spatula. Same thing, except when that egg goes to flip, when it lands, you drop the pan real easy with it, and it'll keep it from breaking. Like I say, all it is practice. Alright, I'm just going to turn this down, let that cook a little bit. Turn off my noodles. They are done. I'm going to dump them out. Shocking is to stop cooking. So if you have anything that you don't want to cook anymore, like those noodles, I almost overdone. They're still probably a little soft, but if you want to stop it right now, take whatever you're cooking and hit it with cold water, get all that heat away from it. Once you do that, it'll stop cooking immediately. That's how you par cook vegetables that you want to cook later. Say you're having a big party, you want to do asparagus or green beans or anything like that. Put them in your boiled water and have a tub of ice water beside you. Once you get them cooked almost all the way through, take them out and throw them in the ice water. Keeps them green, keeps them crisp, and it lets them stay there so you only have to cook them just for a flash before service. So you can do the same thing with anything. The pasta, when you do it in a restaurant, you cook it, you shock it, you put some oil with it, store it in the fridge. Next time you need it, all you do is get some hot water, take a handful of cooked pasta, put it in, pull it right back out. It's hot, it's cooked, it's done. So it's really easy. I get everything set up and boiling before we start. And if it takes me too long to get prepped, then half the water's gone by the time we're ready to go. How much, you don't know. I don't. It'll tell you on the container. So if you're looking for your ratios, you're at a teaspoon per cup. So I basically throw it in and taste it. I make mine a little stronger if I'm going to thicken it, because the flour is going to take some of that flavor away from it. So. I always make mine a little strong if I'm going to do that, if I'm just making a soup with it. I generally don't make soups with pre-bought stock. I'll use a chicken if I'm going to actually make a soup. But for the gravies, I don't happen to have any pre-done stock. A lot of times if we roast off chickens, I will make stock from the leftovers and put it in the freezer, but I don't have any at this point. Give that a taste and see if it's got enough spice to it. Yep, it does. Whisk. Wonderful tool. What did I say about mise en place? They love me. Yes. A little more. Cold water. Now with this recipe, if you've noticed, if you remember the chicken sofrito, you can do the same thing. You can make this into a sofrito by changing your spices you add. Instead of adding the bay and all that, or in addition to, just throw in cumin, some chili powder, maybe a little heat to it. You've got more of a Cuban style chicken stew. Like I say, if you would add this all together and make it lighter, or don't put a thickener in it, just put it all together, you've got basic chicken soup. This is just one of those recipes that lends itself well to a whole bunch of different things. So there we go, it's your basic slurry. A mix of regular flour and cold water. Ouch, that was hot. Okay, once again, your thickening will not be achieved until it reaches a boil. So I've got that all incorporated. I'm going to turn this off because this is done. I'm going to need to combine this in a bigger pot maybe. I think I will. So I'm going to put these together in a larger pot. This is just the pot I cook the noodles in. Pretty much I'm just waiting for this stock to boil. Once it comes up to a boil, it's going to be as thick as it's going to be. I'm going to give it a few more minutes to cook out that floury taste. Then I'm going to combine it all together, test my thickness. I might finish it off with some milk. If you have cream, heavy cream, you can finish it off with that. And it adds a nice richness again. But if you're more health conscious, don't add any of the milk to it. Or if you're lactose intolerant, you just kind of do this. What are you two chuckleheads back there giggling about?
Richness might be all good.
I was thinking the same thing. I wasn't going to say the M word again because I do it with everything. Why? Because I like butter. Is this camera shooting on this? Well? Can you catch this sauce? Okay. Nappe. Another nice French term when you're making a gravy. Not nappy. Nappe. It's when it coats the back of a spoon. Okay, see how it kind of sits there and it will coat the spoon? That's the nappe. But sauces are all dependent on how thick you want them. If you like really, really thick sauces, let it cook a little bit. Turn down the heat. As you cook it, it's going to reduce. Everything that has water in it will reduce. So as you cook these things, they are going to get more concentrated, thicker, if you let them go. That's pretty much it for me though. Keep it a little bit thinner. Got some other product to add to it. And then once you add it to the noodles, it's going to thicken up. So I'm just going to take this entire thing of chicken stock, the sauce, which would be what do they call it? Veloutés? Velouté has cream to it. I can't remember. It's been so long I've been out of school. I haven't used those names in forever. Take all of our chicken product. Drop it in the sauce. Now I'm going to put this back over heat. Putting it over a little bit of low heat to let those flavors macerate. Let them get together. Because we cooked it separately, your stock is going to taste like stock and the other ingredients are going to have their own flavors. If you heat it and let it set together a little bit, those flavors are going to combine and you're going to get more of what you're looking for. A lot of times when you're cooking really fast stuff, you'll hear people say, oh, I can taste all the individual ingredients. And that's the object of it. You cook them and put them together and you cook them so quickly and separately that you get to taste everything that's in there. Some dishes call for that. Some, on the other hand, don't. You want those flavors to combine. You want them like stews and things like this. You want that permeation of flavors so it all has the same consistency and same taste to it. But that's pretty much it. This is done. You can make this as thick as you like. I'm just going to drop the noodles in it because the Wookiee's here and it's not going to last long anyway. He doesn't care. Also, I'm working on some personal issues with my sauces because I have a tendency to over-thicken them. I like really thick, hearty, heavy sauces. So I have a tendency to over-thicken them before I add my starch ingredient, which in turn, as it cools down and sets and the starch soaks up the liquid, turns a lot of the products I don't think about into paste. So everything just kind of clumps together. And because I've been out of the restaurants for a little while, just trying to keep up on being able to make this more as to what it's supposed to be as opposed to what I like it to be. Because when I make Alfredo, I don't like that nice, loose, creamy sauce. I like the stuff to be thick, heavy. Give me more butterfat, please. So that's pretty much it. This is a basic chicken a la king is a basic chicken stew recipe. You can make this with chicken, you can make it with turkey, you can make it with anything. If you use beef, beef broth, do the same thing, beef stew. It's just that quick. You can take chunk out beef real thin, fire it in on the pan with whatever vegetables you want till it's cooked. Do the exact same steps except change it from chicken to beef. There you go, quick beef stew. They have a little different flavor than the beef stews that you cook all day long. The flavor's not as permeated, I guess, but it's still, for a fast thing to do, it comes out really nice. And then the other good thing is the second day it actually tastes exactly like if you cooked it all day. So in a restaurant, a lot of times what we'd do for this stuff is we would make big batches of it, cool it down in the ice water bath, throw it into the fridge. We wouldn't serve it till the next day, because by the time it sits for 24 hours, all those flavors are commingled and you'd never know it only took us 20 minutes to make. Because you serve it the next day and it's like, oh, they cook, it's all homemade. Of course it's homemade. You saw us do it. Doesn't mean we sat there over a stove all day with a boiling pot. So, one of the tricks of the trade. If you can get it done quick, do it. Let me see, I need a utensil here. This will work. Sounds good. Not the best I've ever made. Tastes good. It just hasn't had time to soak up all those flavors. But that's basically it. Sauce is going to thicken up a little bit. They're telling me to put it down. The sauce is going to thicken. Here. Is that good? Can you see it? Right now it's more like a soup consistency. As it sets, it's going to, the noodles are going to soak up more of that sauce. It's going to end up being thicker and have more of that taste that you associate with the a la king. A la king has a very specific flavor to it. That's pretty much it. Just a real easy way to make yourself an a la king, a chicken stew, a cream and chicken soup, anything like that. The only difference is this doesn't have the cream in it. But it's wonderful, particularly in the winter. Nice hearty meal. It's not winter currently, but I keep my house like a meat locker, so you can have it anytime. So that's pretty much it. Again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're, like I say, we're doing something. People like to watch us, so I'm glad it's giving you guys some information. You want to get hold of us, we're at restaurantfoodfast@gmail.com. And until the next time I see you guys, have fun, cook something fun, throw a party, have a good time. All right? Later.